Azazel, Prince of Damnation and Captain of the Ecstatic Legion, is a demon prince of Slaanesh, fated as second in beauty only to his master. A tempter of renown and a warrior of exceptional skill, Azazel serves the god of excess with fanatical devotion. But he was not always thus. Once Azazel was simply a man, until grief, anger and a lust for vengeance drove him into the waiting arms of the perfect prince himself. This is the story of Geryon, and the path that led him to damnation, or, as he would tell it now, perfect salvation. Long before the Warhammer world as we know it, in the time before Sigmar had even been crowned a king, much less a god, Azazel was born into the Umberogan tribe of men ruled by Sigmar's father and was named Geryon, one of a pair of twins, with the other being a brother named Trinovantes. He also had an elder sister named Ravenna. When the twins were born, a tribal shaman predicted that one of them would come to know the greatest of pleasures and also the most terrible of pains. Of the other, there was nothing. In the years that followed, as Geryon and Trinovantes grew to adulthood, the lands of men frequently fell prey to rampaging warbands of orcs who would butcher, pillage and enslave without mercy. To hold these vicious tribes at bay, the fledgling race of men had not simply to defend, but to aggressively plunge into the lands of the hated greenskins and kill them where they were before they could strike. So it was that one day, the then Prince Sigmar assembled a band of men of the Umberogan to embark on an expedition and to ambush and slaughter a nearby orc tribe. Two of the chosen warriors were Geryon and his twin brother Trinovantes. Fate was to intervene though, when the night before Geryon engaged in a drunken fight with one of Sigmar's sword brothers and had his wrist broken, meaning that he could not participate in the battle that was to follow. That following day, while Geryon recovered in frustration at the camp, under the command of Sigmar, Geryon's brother Trinovantes was slain in battle by the murderous orcs. When his body was returned to the camp, the surviving twin was furious, and though Sigmar swore in his honour that Trinovantes had chosen to stand his ground bravely and die protecting others, Geryon could be neither convinced nor consoled. And within himself he swore an oath of terrible vengeance against Sigmar, whose commands had, to his mind at least, killed his brother as much as the orc blade that struck him. Upon returning to the lands of the Umberogan, Geryon sought out the counsel of a hag seer, and under her guiding hand he made peace with Sigmar, swearing an oath of friendship and loyalty. But it was a lie. For while over the months and years that followed, Geryon proved himself a gifted warrior and skilled member of Sigmar's personal bodyguard, still the urge for revenge gnawed at him. But not without reservations. The more Geryon saw of the young prince, the closer they became, to the point of becoming even friends. Moreover, Sigmar had taken as his betrothed Geryon's elder sister, Ravenna, making them very nearly brothers. So just as the desire for vengeance gnawed at Geryon, so did doubt. After 6 years though, those doubts fell away. Sigmar had been crowned king, and Geryon's time of betrayal was at hand. First coating his sword in deadly poison given to him by the hag seer, he lashed out, attacking the now king Sigmar, dealing him a vicious wound and sending that poison coursing into the new king's bloodstream. But the vengeance would not be completed, for with the same sweep of his blade that struck down Sigmar, Geryon also accidentally stabbed his beloved elder sister Ravenna through the belly, killing her where she stood. Geryon, the red mists of vengeance finally lifted from his eyes, saw the fruits of his wrath laid bare, his sister dead, and his friend stricken and apparently dying. In disgust at himself and what he had become, he fled north pursued by the men of the Umberogan. Evading capture, he sought asylum, and it was granted by the shattered remnants of the Norsi, a rival tribe that had been crushed by Sigmar and his forces not long before. Upon entering that camp, there was one who was not surprised to see him. Long before, a chaos sorcerer of the Norsi had prophesied the coming of a champion who would serve chaos in glory, a tempter of kings and a butcher of armies. When the sorcerer laid eyes on Geryon, he recognised that champion and declared that that name would no longer serve. Geryon would forevermore be Azazel, and he was to go north into the Chaos Wastes themselves and prostrate himself before the throne of Slaanesh, entering into the god's service for all time. Having learned that Sigmar had survived his attack, and knowing that he would be pursued for as long as he lived in the lands of men, there was little other option but to fulfill prophecy. After a short time of preparation, the newly anointed Azazel set out north, but he was not alone. Another refugee joined him, a boy of the Talos tribe that had also been annihilated by Sigmar and the Unborogan before him. And an auspicious day it was for the Chaos Gods when these two began their journey north, because not only was Slaanesh to gain one who had become a demon prince, but in his companion, a young boy named Morkar. The forces of Chaos were also to gain their first ever chosen. Since then, Azazel has risen to become arguably the greatest of Slaanesh's warriors. The captain of the Ecstatic Legion, he is a great demon prince bearing giant swan-like wings and a sublime grace in combat unmatched by any mortal. He has corrupted whole orders of men into the service of his dark master, and those who he has been unable to turn, he has simply killed. And now, he is finally coming to the battlefields of Total War Warhammer 3. In Total War Warhammer, Azazel will lead a sub-faction of the Warriors of Chaos faction, and he will be a flying demonic lord with white wings and immense melee skill on the battlefield. His Demon Blade is a weapon that could supposedly pierce any and all mortal armour, so he should get immense armour piercing boosts from it, and with his renowned seductive abilities, he should not only be able to use all or at least most of the campaign map abilities of the Slaanesh faction, but he should also be able to seduce more and better units pre-battle, as well as potentially being able to freeze enemy heroes and lords in place on the battlefield and make them easy prey for his armies or himself. Thank you for joining me today for this exploration of the captain of the Ecstatic Legion. There are going to be more videos like this coming soon, so if you've enjoyed this one, hit subscribe and the bell so that you don't miss them, and I'll see you there.